Now, I don't know if you can hear it there, but the rice is starting to crackle. To me, it's a beautiful sound. And what we're going to start doing now is we're just going to take a spoon and we're going to start adding in the stock. Now, as I said, we're just going to put the stock in little by little. We're not going to go crazy with the stock. We're going to take our time. We're going to let it be absorbed. We're also going to let it fizzle out. You want to put a good bit of water in with your haddock while it's cooking. And the idea behind that is, instead of having a stock, I'm using all the goodness of the fish. Smoked haddock is very, very flavoursome. It's quite salty as well. You can get natural undyed smoked haddock. It costs a little bit more. It's $13.50 a kilo. And it comes with the skin on and quite a few bones. Whereas with the smoked haddock, the orange stuff, the bones are easier to remove. There's no skin and it usually is fresh. Most fish shops would have the natural smoked frozen. Now, it's not a big deal. Smoked fish does quite well frozen. Most fish does quite well frozen, especially if it's vacuum packed. But in this instance, I just prefer the colour as well of the smoked haddock. It gives this really nice orange kind of glow to the risotto, and it flakes in really, really nicely. I usually go for thickish pieces of smoked haddock because you're putting it in and you're basically boiling it. So you want to make sure that it kind of cooks and it flakes really, really nicely, because that'll just add some deliciousness to your dish. So I'm just adding the stock little by little here. Like I said, we just want to make it really, really just beautiful and creamy. We want that to happen naturally and slowly. We don't want to rush the process at all. So I'm just here. You have to keep stirring it. This is one of the problems with risotto. It's not really a problem. You just need patience. It's not a hard thing to knock out of the park, but it is a time-consuming thing. Some people actually put all the stock in one go and leave it on a slow heat and watch it evaporate. You can absolutely do that if it's something you want to do, but with this particular recipe, that's not the way I'm doing it. And I suppose everyone has a slightly different tangent or take on how to cook things. This is the way I'm doing this. It's not to say it's the right way or the wrong way. That's the beauty about cooking. There is no right or wrong. Every recipe just has to come from the heart. The beauty of food is being able to express, in my opinion, love through food. I guess it's something we need, but it's also a very, very beautiful thing. And I adore cooking for family and friends. Heck, I'd probably cook for a complete stranger. I'm just that into making food for people. I'd probably cook for my worst enemy. So cooking is just a really big thing for me. And I have this rare afternoon where baby foodie is actually not here. He's gone to creche and I have the day off work. So I figured it was the perfect opportunity to actually stop talking about doing this video, but actually do this video. So I'm doing this video, I've got my apron on, I'm on 1950s in my kitchen, and I'm loving every second of it. Hopefully you guys are actually going to enjoy this cooking tutorial. Maybe some of you will try it. Maybe some of you have great risotto recipes that you'd like to share with me. I do quite a few different risottos. This one is probably just the best in that it allows me to use fish. A lot of people are scared of cooking with fish, and as a fishmonger, obviously I want more people to cook fish, but as well as that, it gets people eating fish in a way that isn't too, I don't know, a lot of people just decided they don't like fish from a very early age, in Ireland especially, I suppose, because in the poorer times fish was so readily available and free that a lot of people decided they don't like fish anymore. It's like in France for years you couldn't get a turnip, and the reason for that was during the Second World War turnips were no longer horse food, they were what people had to eat. So this whole shame came about turnips. So I think it's only about maybe 6 years ago the turnip came back as this new funky vegetable, le rutabaga, and all of a sudden it was like vegetable à l'ancienne, which basically means vegetable from the olden times, and people were just loving it again, but they hadn't eaten it for years due to the shame associated with it. I think a part of me believes that's why Irish people are so anti-fish. Sorry about the dogs, I literally have no way to stop them from barking, it would seem, so we're just going to have to put up with the two of them and their little friends. So yeah, I think it's really interesting that we live in a country where we have access to some of the best fish, the freshest fish imaginable, and most Irish people I know wouldn't touch fish. It's a shame really, we have great fishmongers around. I mean, obviously I work for one, but there are so many around with really fresh produce. I didn't know a lot about fish before I became a fishmonger. I became a fishmonger, or started working in Billy Barks 4 years ago, and I made it my mission. I had this fear of bones, came from my mum, but I made it a mission that I would try a new fish every single week, and it's gotten to the point now where I have tried every single fish we have in the shop, and I have at least 3 recipes for each one. Like, my favourite part of my day is if someone comes into the shop and asks me, how do you cook that? A lot of people are sick of repeating themselves, whereas I would literally spend all day helping someone how to cook something. I was recently asked what my favourite day to work was, and my answer is Valentine's Day. I love working on Valentine's Day because there's loads of men come in and they want to cook their girlfriends the perfect meal, and I get to spend 20 minutes explaining what the perfect meal might entail and how to cook it, and I just think that's really, really beautiful. The idea, you know, that someone would actually go the extra mile for you is lovely. But yeah, so this risotto is not complicated, but it is time consuming, and it's just, at the moment, the stock is kind of seeping in there to the rice, and you can see the rice, it's changing consistency, it's changing look, and we're taking our time with it. It's going to be absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to keep stirring, and I'm going to put you guys on hold, and then I'll take footage of the risotto itself so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll come back.